don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirisho here, and before I do begin, I wanted to get 3 videos out tonight. That was my goal, and I just figured out I'm having audio issues, so that kind of does suck. If I do sound off or I do pause the recording, that is the reason for that. I'm checking to make sure if the audio is good, or if I might need to scrap it and just, mess with my mic more. Anyway guys, now, with that being said, whenever we last left off with this series, Deku, him and his crew were trying to make a device to lure All Might to destroy the people who have been murdering people. They've taken over a part of the city, and from what he can tell, not only are they violent and or brutal murderers, but they do have seemingly some allies on their side. That are people who are forced to work with them and give them resources, since it looks like they're being paid quite a big amount of them from these people. Now, with that being said, along with that, you did also have what was going on with Deku and Momo. To everybody else in the mansion, these two, they're well friends. They're just ordinary people acting out their own lives. However, there's something else there. In the personal life of these two, Momo, she's admitted to having strange feelings towards Deku. And the two of them, the night Deku was awake and thinking, he was wondering about everything. Momo came to see him, and she gave Deku a gift. It wasn't much, but she tried to make him an eye patch, one that would cover his eye and be comfortable. And Deku and her, they actually did kiss. It wasn't the first time, but it's strange. They have this feeling of warmth. They have this feeling of safety. It's something that in this world, it's hard to hang on to and even get. However, somebody, they did see this. They discovered this relationship, and it's kind of strange. They don't know what to say about it, or even really how to bring it up. It is their own business, but it's something noteworthy, right? Now, with that being said, we actually do have Deku who does wake up the next morning. Whenever he actually does wake up, he doesn't feel tired. In fact, he feels cozy. He feels warm. And he feels like he actually got some good sleep. More than usual. Deku, he actually does go to lean up and go to get out of his bed. However, whenever Deku he does go to bring his feet out to the left, we actually have where somebody they do go to grab onto his hand. And Deku he does turn and see Momo. How'd you sleep? I slept good. It's, well, best sleep I've ever had in a while. I know. Me too. It's nice. It's, well, it's not lonely. Yeah. So, did you wanna go get breakfast together, or? Yeah, I do. So, let's see. It's early in the morning, so I think we should be the first ones up. Do you know who's on night watch? Uh, I think it was Jiro, maybe? I don't know. I haven't been on the watch schedule for a minute. We all rotate out, and we're trying to split things up again. It's getting all complicated with the whole routines we're trying to create and, working together, you know? Yeah, Momo, I understand. Jeez, I need something for my hangover. I think we should have something in the kitchen. Water? I was thinking more of, you know, something for your head, actually, but water will work too. Now, Deku does somewhat smile, as he does go to get dressed, and so does Momo. The two of them, it actually does feel weird, but at the same time, it also does feel somewhat natural. They just have an aura around them, and it does somewhat spark people's interest, whenever they themselves did wake up and go to get something to eat. As whenever they were all sitting down and eating, you did actually have Kirishima. He did ask Izuku a question, since he did look a bit more awake in the morning. Hey Izuku, did you wake up earlier than usual? Huh? Oh, no, I didn't. Really? You look different. Do I? Eh, I guess. I don't know. Did you shower before breakfast or something? I don't really know. It's a feeling. Hmm. Maybe, maybe. But hey, we need to get things ready for this morning. Listen, everyone. What we're about to do and what we're about to plan, we have to be careful. We need to find out what May has been doing. I'm pretty sure she's been up building all night, right? Everybody looking at each other. Some people agreeing and some disagreeing. Talking about how, oh, they ran out of this type of coffee. Or, oh, they don't have chocolate. Since they've kind of been hiding it from May. Now, May, she is a little angry about that, but hey, it works. She just needs more coffee. Now, with that being said, Deku and everyone, they would all go to split off on their own ways. Deku going to see May to find out what she's been working on. However, whenever he does arrive, he actually is surprised by something. He opened the door to this room, and whenever he walked in, he looked around to see a small workshop, basically. It's all somewhat makeshift and put together. It's either just random tables they've taken from other rooms, or it's just really a dresser with a bunch of tools laid out on it. And Deku, whenever he actually does walk in, he does see something sitting down on one of the tables. Him walking over and going to bend down to look at it. It looks kind of strange, and he doesn't really even know how to describe what he's looking at. Deku just basically holding up what looks like a bunch of spikes connected to welded metal. And this is something that he does take an interest in. What can this be for? And you do actually have May. Whoever Deku does go to throw this back down, she does hear the crash. Her jumping up and saying that she's awake. May, when did you go to sleep? I don't know. But I got those things finished. Good. Now go the fuck to sleep. Come on. There's so much more stuff to do. Besides, I'm almost done with my side project. Your what? Yeah, I was gonna bring it up to you later, but I've been working on something. What have you been working on? Her looking over towards Deku and seeing exactly what he's holding, or what he just tossed down. What's in front of him, actually, my bad. She sees that those spiky things. Her actually going to jump up and run over. Her going to grab this thing and she just hold it up. Deku watching her put her hands in between the metal bars and go to grab onto something. Her going to lift it upwards, talking about how this is somewhat of a prototype. And she's actually kind of curious as to if he'd be willing to test it out. May, I'm not testing out a prototype. Besides, that's what? Too dangerous for my hand? What if I cut myself on it? Actually, this isn't for your right hand. Deku looking at it a bit more confused. Before she actually does go to walk over to a desk and go to pull something out. As she does ask Izuku if she can see his left arm. Deku at least going to bring it upwards, as May, she actually is going to start fitting something around the part of Deku's forearm that is still there. Her putting it up to the elbow, and then going to attach something else onto it. As Deku he somewhat does wince in pain a bit, since he's not used to that area being touched, especially since there still might be some bone shrapnel inside of his arm. Now, whenever she does this, she actually does go to put this thing on Deku's arm, before he's going to actually tighten up some belts, and even going to slightly put something else on it. Now, Deku he does look at it. It right now is basically just a bunch of metal bars and sheet metal, but it's something different. Plus, it's actually the way it does look on him. She tried to design this thing similar to a metal arm. And Deku, he did notice the way it was towards the front of it. But right now, it does actually look a bit better. As Deku, he does go to move his arm up and actually go to shake it around. Deku trying to at least test it as if he's trying to throw something with his left hand like a frisbee. And Mei does actually notice this, asking if he thinks it's going to be good. It's weird, but it works. Her actually going to at least go to grab something. Her coming back over and telling Izuku that she's trying to work on a bit of a hand. But for right now, they only got spikes. Mei, do you have something that can connect to this? Huh? Like what? I don't... I'd say like something to extend it, maybe. Or, well, if I could fix a long blade, I guess, on here. I don't know. It's just a thought. Maybe a spear that can fit inside this thing, since it's kind of just empty on the inside. Really? Then it'll have to be in my later designs, actually. I've thought about putting some stuff in there that you can use, since no one would expect it, but right now we don't got much. Her actually going to walk over to a wall and go to grab a belt. As she was talking about how this is the belt, her holding it up as it does have 3 small contraptions fixed to it. Talking about how these are the noisemakers, or if he does want to call it that, they're bait for All Might. Now, Deku does look at those things, as he does ask her exactly how loud can they go. And she does just simply say that she tried to put more contraptions inside of it, or components, that were able to produce louder volumes of noise. And right now she believes that it would be at around what? It's almost as loud as a gunshot, she would say. And since there's 3 of them, that's gonna be a bit more loud. And Deku, whenever he does hear that, yeah, these things are perfect. And Deku does ask her if she can make more of them, as she does just look towards Deku, trying to explain. It's not really time consuming, but it's the amount of components they need. It's all about dismantling and using what she can find. Yeah, they got lucky with that stuff. But right now, at the most, with their current resources, she could probably only make 6 more, if he uses those 3 right now. Really? Yeah. Listen, I mean, 1 would be good, but 3, that would probably draw in a couple of things for a few blocks. Especially if it's quiet. Deku looking right at Mei. That's the idea. Now, Deku, he doesn't think for a minute. Does she forget what's going on outside? Listen, Mei, I think you need to go get some fresh air and... No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Listen, it's just... I like being in here. Okay? I'm... good. Mei? What day is it? Well, I mean... It's... It's, Tuesday? Mei, what's the date? Now, Mei does say a day that was about 3 weeks ago. As Deku, he tells her the truth and then explains to her that it's not Tuesday, it's Sunday. Now, Mei, she is somewhat caught off guard by this, so she does take Deku's advice, as he does somewhat get her out of the room a bit forcefully. Now, Mei, she is somewhat annoyed, but by the end of it, she's gonna want to thank him later. Now, with that being said, we do actually have over with the group that Deku's team has been responding to and talking with, trying to form a bit of an alliance with. Now, they've been able to actually start pinpointing when these people do arrive, as they have been waiting. When they arrive, they make a note of it, and so far, it's been every 4 to 5 days. And right now, they're supposed to either arrive tonight or tomorrow, and their group, they're going to be tracking them. And Deku, he does wait for a response. Eventually, after at least going over some things and discussing it with the other faction's leader, Deku, he's been able to somewhat pinpoint an area. If he's correct, then Deku at least going to point at a map, talking about how if he's right, then this is where they are. Everybody looking at the area Deku pointed out, as it's actually not too far away, especially from their place. It's, well, actually just, what, 20, maybe 15 blocks? And that's even just in other directions, too. Now, everybody, they are looking. And Deku, he does have an idea. A good idea as to tell whether these people are friend or foe. And he does go for the plan with everybody else, as some of them, they are on the fence. Now, we do have where Deku, he's currently, after a few hours, running through the city. He's trying to run down the street and just get to safety. Deku running to different places and trying to check the doors, as he acts like they are locked. Before he does actually go to run over to a fence, and somebody, he does see them up on top of a building. Deku trying to at least bring his hands up to wave his arms around, trying to get their attention. Before Deku does go to reach down and go to actually grab something. Him throwing it at the window, and he's going to try to smash something else on the bar. Whenever the person they actually do see Deku, they do go to run outside. And afterwards, Deku, he's pointed out with a gun. Whenever the person, they pointed the gun at him, Deku tried to talk them down, trying to explain that they need to let him inside, since it's pretty important. Who the hell are you? Listen, right now, you need to let me inside. There's zombies coming out here, man. Come on. Listen, I'm not gonna do that. You're probably bitten. You're covered in blood and you're dirty. Dude, it's been days. Listen to me. My place got raided. Everyone died. I've been on my own for the last couple of weeks. I need help. Trust me, man. What I'm gonna tell you, you need to listen to me. All Might's on his way. I'm not fucking with you. Now, wherever this person they do hear how frantic and out of place Deku does sound, it does seem to convince them. Especially since he said All Might was on his way here. And that is something that the guy, he just opened the gate, as he did go to pull Deku in, and then go to lock it behind him. As whenever other people they did come hearing this commotion, they did walk up to see this dirty guy. And everyone they're just staring at him. As their ally, they have a gun pointed to him. And Deku is instructed as to what to do. They're going to search him and see if he's been infected or bitten. And if he doesn't meet their test, then it's going to be quite simple. He is going to be shot. And Deku, he does agree, as he does inform them that he can tell them that he's not bitten, and that they need to take him at his word by that. They don't believe him, and Deku, he actually starts to take off his jacket, after at least saying that he will comply. After going to do so, everyone they do see Deku. Using his right arm, he does just do this. Everyone curious about that, until he actually has to get to his left arm. Deku going to at least go to pull it down past the part of his shoulder. Going to grab onto the belts and go to loosen them. As he does go to pull part of his arm off, and everyone they do look confused, realizing that that thing was fake. And this is something that people do notice. The guy is just standing there in front of them. He's got a t-shirt on. And well, yeah. After inspecting him, his shirt is somewhat clean. It's just covered in dirt and some dry blood. And they do look at his arm particularly, asking about what happened there. And Deku talks about how it was bit, so he had to remove it. And everyone, yeah. They can tell he's not lying. And Deku does at least go to continue, talking about how he needs to talk to their leader since All Might, he's migrating. And people, yeah, the mention of that, it does not fuck around. Now, or they do not fuck around with that. Now, Deku is brought to their leader, and after being sat down in a room, and at least pointed a gun at, or had a gun pointed at him, he does try to inform somebody. What he's looking at is an older gentleman. And while he isn't super old, he's probably going to be in his late 40s, possibly his early 50s. Deku can't really tell. He's trying to talk to the man. And the guy, he is actually at least trying to listen to Deku. However, it's also somewhat hard to. Whenever Deku he came in, he did seem frantic. And then now he does just seem calm. That's something that does upset this person. And whenever they do try to ask further about Deku's story, Deku he does at least try to explain it. Him and his group, as he does point down to a map, were here. And he does talk about how, however, they did start seeing something strange. Over here, here, and here, patterns started to change for zombies. And then there actually was over here. Deku pointing at the area of town that borders on All Might's territory. As it does talk about how this wasn't here. All Might was over here. Deku pointing far into the side of another part of the town. As everyone, he assumes they've done the same thing that his group has done. They've boarded out where certain zombies might be. They've boarded out where certain groups of them, they are present in just different variety. You get a large clump of these ones here, you get a large clump of those ones there. It's not really that hard, especially since them grouping up, or at least having a bit of a hive mind tactic, it is somewhat smart. They can overwhelm their enemy with numbers. And, well, it's sort of unnerving. Now, this is something that everybody, they all just stare at Deku whenever he's talking. Him going on, and he's trying to explain that he believes that All Might will pass through this area, Deku pointing at an area that does actually go into the territory these men are from. As he does explain that he believes that they'll go around this area and through here. Deku pointing directly through an area where a building, or at least the guy who Deku's sitting across from, he knows is populated by the people Deku's trying to take down. Now, the person, they do somewhat go to grin. And Deku does talk about how if he knows anybody in those areas, he has to at least inform them to get the hell out of there. All Might's on his way. And he's going to try to skip town. He's not fucking around with All Might. Since, yeah, he's the only one left of his, well, not his kind, but of his people. His group is all shot to hell. He's not even sure if anyone else made it out. And the guy, he does somewhat go to laugh, telling Izuku that, hell, he's glad that they came, or he came with the information, and that right now he's really excited, really happy. Why? Listen, kid, a group of guys over there, they're fucking with a lot of people. They do a lot of shit, and I won't lie. What you've told me has put me in a good mood. I mean just a great mood. Listen, there's a guy over there who he wronged me. In fact, he kind of took over my territory, my gang, if you do want to say that. Deku, whenever he does look at the man, his somewhat happy expression, it does somewhat fade. As the guy, he does go to bring up a gun. Deku staring directly down at it as he does think, well, this is not what he was expecting. Listen, kid. The guy going to flip the gun over and go to at least point the handle towards Deku. Him going to sit it down, saying that he's going to give him this as a bit of a reward for the good information and for not trying to get involved, not trying to be a hero. And Deku, while his eye does somewhat twitch at that, he does look at the man. And the guy, he did notice that, asking if Izuku has a quirk. I did. Well, that explains the arm then. What'd you do? I don't want to talk about it. I see. Did you defend yourself? I killed quite a bit of people, yeah. People? Interesting. So, you're clearly not to be fucked around with, especially if you can do that to yourself. Yeah, I know. If my friends weren't there for me, I would have died. Kid, sometimes friends aren't your friends, they're just using you. Deku looking up at the man. As that comment, it did stick out to him. Now, Deku, he did go to stand up. The guy going to stand up as well, talking about how he is going to give the kid a bit of supplies, especially if he's going to hit the road. Him saying that they can't spare a car, but Deku is more than happy to take a backpack. Hell, give the kid some fresh water and even a change of clothes, since he does smell like shit. Now, Deku, he's given these things. A backpack with a fresh set of clothes packed, some water, the revolver they spared for him, and at least 6 bullets. Now, Deku, whenever he does go to leave, he does at least go to reattach his metal arm. And whenever he does so, he does actually go to reach down and grab his jacket. Deku, he doesn't put it on, but he does at least go to throw it over his left shoulder. And he does actually go to grab the gun and go to pull it out, as he does at least wave off these people. And while the guy does at least go to stare at Deku, he is waiting. Deku is somebody who he does at least somewhat kinda respect in a way. While he is staying out of a situation he could fucking die in, trying not to be a hero, he's just trying to live. He can respect that. Survival of the fittest. In nature, the strong survive. And we do actually have Deku. The experience he just had here, what he's just learned about, everything he knows from this place. These people, they aren't being threatened. They are the former members of that gang who left with that guy. They split into two, and right now they're being basically terrorized for resources. Deku knows that while they could use them in their fight, right now something else is easier. Deku at least going to grab the belt and go to actually click a button that Mei has wired up. She wired it to all 3 of these things. And Deku after at least going to throw down the jacket with at least part of his forearm or his new forearm, he does get to turn around. Deku going to swing the belt over his head with 2 fingers. As Deku, whenever he does so, he does at least wait. There's the ticking of the timers. And Deku, the moment he does get to throw it, you do have where it does fly through the air and smash through the second straight window. As it does somewhat just hang there, as the alarm does start to go off. All 3 of them at the same time. And Deku, whenever he did go to turn back around, the zombie that was a few feet away from him to his left and walking towards him, does actually start to shuffle towards his right. And Deku does make note of that, as these things are attracted to noise, since noise means people. Noise means movement. Now, Deku, he does start to run away, since he knows, if he's right, that the regular zombies won't be the only ones here. Right now, 3 dinner bells are ringing. And these people, yeah, they're not in the best spot. As long as they're quiet, they won't wake a few zombies up. However, that quietness, it's currently gone. A few city blocks away in every direction are hearing the echoes and drawing in the zombies. Even if you turn those clocks off, or the grenades off, they're already on the way. Now, with that being said, after at least running down the street, and at least jumping into the back of a car, Deku, he does tell the person that they just need to get the hell out of here. As they do back out of the alleyway and go to haul ass down the street. Since they're well aware that if they stick around, they're going to probably encounter something they don't want to. Now, with that being said, I believe that's a good point to leave this off of, and I do hope you guys enjoyed.